Venus, so we're having a big Aries party. So everybody that's an Aries is feeling it, or if you're Aries moon, or Aries rising, or Aries sun, or any cardinal sign, you're kind of feeling the fire. Venus is there. Venus isn't really happy in Aries. She'd much rather be in Taurus, which is coming. And then the moon is also in Aries today. So we have a big lineup of Aries fire energy, which can be really good momentum. So just watch that you don't boil over and snap at people or situations. Yeah, don't be snippy and snappy. So that's astrology. Also, remember what else is in Aries is Chiron, the wounded healer. So, and Venus is right there. So we're getting that. Lots of people, though, it's kind of like awakening energy. So people are shedding in this light body yoga. We're shedding density, and activating our light bodies. So the people are starting to see what has gone on with the sun going into Gemini. It's like a big, Gemini and Sagittarius are that truth quadrant. So it's a big like revealing of truth coming up. So Gemini is like the one that gets all the information. Geminis are wicked smart. So they're getting all the information, and dissecting what's going on. And they're like, oh, this was a scam. Oh, this was a lie. You know, this sort of stuff. So we'll be seeing that, but there is still that war for control over people's consciousness. There is a daily war for control of your consciousness. And the more that you have activated the light within you, the more that you've stepped into your sovereignty, stepped into your power, and claimed that, the veil will be lifted for you. We've been in this Pisces fog for so long, and the Pisces fog will continue for the collective until like 2024, the end of 2024. Then Pluto will finally leave, and then we'll have this. Neptune's there. Remember, Neptune in Pisces is that watery, foggy, misty, like you can't really see things very clearly. And so it leaves, I think it leaves in 2025. So we have a little bit. But as the planet's waking up, have you noticed it? Like the guy's doing the deck at the retreat center. And he's like talking to me, the way he was talking to me was like the way I'm talking to you guys. I'm like, oh, there's no accident, you're building my deck. He was like so aware. He could barely speak English too, but I had like a translator. And then I could hear like the word corruption, you know, and government. I knew like some of those words, and I'm like, he's so with it. Like they all know. It was very interesting. I was like, oh, very cool. But this obsession that we go into when we're like looking for the truth, or you go down those rabbit holes, that kind of like people got obsessed with COVID, right? And now people are obsessed with other things. They're obsessed with the abortion issue, right? It's almost like a drug addiction, the obsession that they get into. So we need to watch that we don't go spiraling down those rabbit holes of negativity and division, because that's what they want. They want us divided. They want us negative. They want us fighting each other. And this is a lot of fighting warrior energy. And so we need to come together and know that we have more similarities than we have differences. And humanity wants what's best for humanity. Nobody wants something bad to happen to another person, unless they get you spun into such a tizzy, you know, where when you like heard like, oh, somebody has COVID and somebody said good, and you're like, oh, that's how they got people so separate. And what we need to do is come together. And the way to get people in that way is to keep them divided. And so we don't want to do that. We don't want to fall into that trap. So we'll be really activating, and the more that we shed the density, shed that heaviness, because doesn't that feel bad to be upset with somebody or to wish something bad for somebody? That feels bad. It doesn't elevate you, it pulls you down. So we're shedding that, and we're still shedding from those full moon eclipses. And if you're doing your inner work, and a lot of it's the shadow work, which isn't fun, and some of that will come up for you today, then you'll be seeing reality totally different than other people. Have you noticed that? That you can just live in a totally different reality from others. I know you, your whole life. It's like, I just don't accept that. I just don't live in that reality. And people look at you like, what are you talking about? But you don't, right? You're not playing into that game. You can be aware of it, but not fall into it. The people not doing the work, though, will be falling deeper into that haze and that mental fog and that asleepness, but they'll wake up. It's coming. The easier path is to not do the work, not do the inner work, right? It's much easier to eat Cheetos and ice cream and watch The Price is Right. Right? But you came to do the work. You're here. So when we do this, Kriya, notice what comes up for you. Notice what's triggering you. If anything hurts you, like if it hurts you, don't do it. But if you just don't feel like not doing it, do it. Okay. Because it's going to align you. So when I did it, I had Jared do it with me too. Jared's back and he's working over there. Jared did it with me too. And we had total spinal adjustment and alignments and neck adjustment and alignments. It was very cool. But you should be able to identify when you're triggered, when something's going to really bother you, you'll be able to identify the wound that's the chiron that's up for your healing. Because you'll be sitting with it here. And you'll be sitting with it doing something you don't want to do much longer. And then you'll go, okay, what does that remind me of? This reminds me of that when I had to, whatever, right? I will not, whatever, 100 times on the chalkboard or whatever, right? Whatever comes up for you. I noticed the other day I was really triggered and I had to sit with the discomfort. And as I sat with the discomfort, it was like, oh, this is, when I boiled it down to one word, it was rejection. Yeah. I'm sitting here, it's that whole fight over there it was all about rejection. You're rejecting something. I'm trying to give you something and you're rejecting it. So you're rejecting me as a person, as a soul. So I was taking it like that personally. So it was really interesting to look at that and go, oh, well, where else am I acting that out? That rejection or fear of being rejected, right? It can go all the way back to the womb, right? Especially if anyone was an accident, their parents told them, you're an accident. We didn't really want you. Oh, okay. Well, babies hear that and feel it. It's energy. They feel it, and then, or, grandparents going, oh, we'll take you to get an abortion in Mexico, and then you had to go to Mexico to do it, So that's that energy. So the grandparents have the energy, and the parents have the energy, and so it's like, you can work through a rejection wound then your whole life. It can go like that. So very interesting. Okay, and then you know how we've been working with the Maitreya Buddha and the Mahatma in previous classes. If you've been here, you have a mantra for Maitreya that we'll be hopefully getting into. But I wanted to read you something amazing from the Ascension Manual again. Okay. Which I opened to a blurred vision in my massage chair last night.
This is sore.
Okay, so the Mahatma, which is the avatar of synthesis. So I talked about this in Light Body class last week. Mahatma is the avatar of synthesis that hasn't been on the planet working for us. And the Mahatma is anchoring in the cosmic energy, working with Sanat Kumara, the planetary logos, to anchor it into the earth. And then we have to call on the Mahatma to be the conduit for that. So that just catches you guys up a little bit that we're not here. But we'll do a whole Light Body school so you can study it. Okay, the reason the Mahatma has come is because of an invocation at the soul level. Enough souls, higher selves, or soul-merged individuals called out for help, which then invoked the Mahatma consciousness and energy. The Mahatma energy has the ability to create a vehicle or base of support as we rapidly expand our consciousness so we don't get overwhelmed. Because we have felt that overwhelm, especially the last 2 years. But as we anchor in and anchor to the Mahatma energy, it can help ease that. Do you guys remember me talking about how when I first started teaching, and teachers will tell me that when they sit up here and there's just a flood of energy coming in, and I was like, turn it down. It's kind of like that. Like if you're feeling that so much energy and your consciousness changing so much, you can call in the Mahatma energy to help you from feeling overwhelmed from that so much. Just turn it down a little bit. Let my body integrate, because we keep expanding, we keep shedding the density. So that Mahatma energy will help you with that. Where did I go? Okay, the Mahatma energy takes us beyond individuality. Once the consciousness or bridge of light is established with the Mahatma, it will flow very naturally without a lot of effort. That's that rainbow bridge. The rainbow bridge of light. It's also referred to, Vemas has also referred to this consciousness as a cosmic walk-in. The avatar of synthesis, who's the Mahatma, first made contact with the earth in Atlantean times and prophesied that he would come in the future when there was enough of an invocation response on the soul level. The Lord Maitreya, the planetary Christ, that's the Maitreya Buddha, is now physically incarnated. The avatar of synthesis anchored with Maitreya. If we add Sai Baba, who passed, remember Sai Baba in India? You guys remember Sai Baba? Yeah. Was the cosmic Christ in India, the externalization of the hierarchy, the angels, the Ashtar command, and the positive extraterrestrials. The completing of cycles of 2,000, 6,000, 12,000, 36,000, and 10 million years, we begin to see what an extraordinary time we are currently living in. There is no better time in history of the planet to be incarnated if one is interested in spiritual growth. And so when we had Jupiter in Pisces, that was a real expansion of the spiritual growth. And then Jupiter's entered into Aries, what I was talking about in the beginning, which is the real action. And then Jupiter's gonna go retrograde back into Pisces for a little bit. I think it's in October. So it's the time to really be doing your spiritual work. And if you're doing it, you will be rewarded. Things will be working out for you. Whatever your spiritual work is, whether it's coming to class, whether it's connecting with nature, it doesn't matter. It's your inner work. It's your connection with source, not what somebody tells you, some hierarchical system that tells you this is the only